Hi, everybody. It's PoliTarology. I had to adjust my camera there. My camera is like hiding everything. I can't see what's going on the screen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to PoliTarology. It's Friday night, and I have a small group of psychics here who are going to review the future about politics in the United States. So before we get started, I'm going to go around the circle and let everybody say hello and tell you what's going on their channel. And so let's do that. So Gerald, could you start us off?
Yes. I'm Tarot Stash. I do lots of things. It's easier just to like and subscribe to my channel. That's Tarot Stash. And tomorrow I am very excited because Colleen and I, the Cool Crone, are talking about an upcoming Sabbath. Tune in for that. And I will be on Sunday with you. And then I've got some readings and all sorts of fun stuff scheduled for next week. So there you go. It's Tarot Stash.
Thank you so much, Gerald. All right, Val, what's going on with you?
Val's muted.
Muted. Okay, here I am. Story in the cards tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in for that. It's always fun. And a little plug for my 2 classes I have going. I have a meditation class where you learn to talk with your guides. And I also have an Akashic Record reading class. Those are both in February. You can check those out on dragonflycrystals.store. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Val. By the way, I've taken a few classes with Val. She's enormously organized, so she won't mess up any of the administrative stuff, but she's also a really, really good teacher. So please take her classes. You won't regret it. They're very, very good. Yeah, thank you. Cleo, what's going on for you?
Well, I got today, PoliTarology.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I think next week, would get into February 2nd, I have another PoliTarology.
Mm-hmm.
But on Sunday, I have this Visualize a New World, which you have changed the name of it, and I don't remember what that is. And then on Monday, I have Mystic 4, and that's about it.
Yay. That sounds like a nice full schedule. That's great. The new name of that show is Reveal the Future.
That's right. Okay.
So, and hey, Deann, nice to see you. What's going on for you?
Well, I'm 129 subscribers away from hitting my 4,000. So I'm hoping that everybody will hit the like and subscribe for these guys, but for me too, because I'm going to have a big giveaway on readings and oils. I started a new little store called Manifest, and we make manifesting oils. You can look on my site and click on it and find out more about it. But yeah, help me to get to my 4,000, and we'll be giving away some of these and some free readings and stuff to celebrate. So that's what I got.
Fantastic. That sounds really, really good. I'm going to have to get me some of those oils. And for the first time on PoliTarology, I'd like to welcome David from Tarot by the Bay. Thank you for coming, David. And please tell us what's going on your channel.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know if I have quite the the as seen on TV voiceover that Gerald's got going on. But I'm David from Tarot by the Bay. I do daily readings. I usually put up 2 every night at midnight Pacific time. I have a second channel called Tarot of the Seven Seas, which focuses mostly on EU events, and I try to put up 1 reading a night for that. I've got a standing every other Tuesday live that I do with Marina from Heart Center Tarot, and thank you again for inviting me, and looking forward to having a bunch of fun tonight.
Yeah, and I think we have you booked for some other shows too, so I'm really...
Yes, you do. And I already posted one up because I thought I was going to that one instead of this one.
Well, no pressure, but you better do really well tonight, okay?
Exactly. Change the StreamYard links.
That's right. I can change those links in a heartbeat if I need to. All right. Well, obviously, I'm Colleen Pearl, the Cool Crone, and that's why we're all here. And today we have all our wonderful guests, and tomorrow Gerald and I will be talking about that mysterious Sabbath that you're all going to have to tune in and find out about. And I just want to mention that in the description for this video, I've listed everybody's channel, the URLs for the channel. So you don't really have to go searching for them. They're right there. And if you could go into each person's channel and subscribe, even try to do it during the show. But if you can't do it during the show, if you can just go in afterwards, watch at least 30 seconds of the show and subscribe and give us a thumbs up, that really, really, really helps the algorithm. And on my channel, I'm at just about 4,300 subscribers. I would love to get to 5,000 by Ostara. When is Ostara, you say? Why, I'm glad you asked that. It's it's the spring equinox. So March 21st, that's my goal. I'd love to get to 5,000 by then. And I know that's a pretty high goal, but I have Capricorn rising and I shoot for the moon. So, that's just the way I roll. What do I have going on? Okay, so everybody's kind of told you about the shows this weekend. Sunday is that's the last show when we're calling it Visualize a New World or New World Visualization. I don't know, some hokey thing that sounds like the Illuminati and it's not. But that's going to be a fun show. We're going to have Gerald will be there with me. We're going to have Michelle Marie. She is a Vedic astrologer and she's really, really smart and really good. And my cat just came on, so now I'm not going to be able to see everything. Sylvia, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I think it's Leva. She Colorful Foresight. Yeah, Colorful Foresight. She is a really interesting psychic. She's going to be on that show. And then Sybil Harmony is also joining us for that show. So that's going to be real fun. Sorry, Kitty. I got to move my calendar because I got to go to the next page. Oh, and don't drink my water. Sorry, I'm having kitty difficulties. Feline difficulties. And then next Friday on PoliTarology, I just wanted to let everybody know Mel Dorr is going to be joining us, and he's going to be playing the role of Gerald on that show. Because Gerald will be with us. So, no, Kitty, no. Oh, my cat. Did you guys? Okay, you can't even see me now. The cat's tail is just in the camera.
Wow.
Good job, Kitty.
Getting Zoom bombed by the cat.
Yeah. This is what happens when you have a familiar for a partner. Okay.
Sure.
And one last thing I want to announce, because I'm really excited about it, is Sunday, February 4th. I'm going to be doing a special PoliTarology with Andrew Carr, and we're going to be both talking about astrological stuff, probably about congressional folks, maybe the SCOTUS people, maybe some government people, who knows, but that's going to be really, really fun. And we're in the midst of this last week or so of January where we just had Pluto go into Aquarius. Yesterday was the full moon in Leo, and tomorrow Uranus stations direct in Taurus. Big energies are happening, and you notice the stuff in the news is just crazy. So, when your astrologer tells you that big is going to hit the fan, believe her, because that's what's happening right now. So I just, wanted to put that in there, and also to say, told you so. Okay.
And by the way, I mean, if they did need an astrologer, they could just contact Colleen the Cool Crown.
There we go. Shameless plug, shameless plug, shameless plug. Thank you.
And is everybody streaming this to their channel?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
So I just wanted to remind people they might want to go to the other people's channel as well as Colleen's so that we get some viewership on there.
Yep. Is when you go to the person's channel, that's the perfect opportunity to subscribe and give it a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And then you can, stay for a little while and hop over to somebody else's channel. That's really good.
Yeah.
So let's dig in here on the headlines from the New York Times. And the first thing that I want to read on is this headline about little Mikey Johnson. Not will he be thrown out. I mean, I think it's, obvious that it's sooner rather than later he's going to be thrown out. But this headline said, Johnson digs in against border deal as negotiators try to salvage it. So this is a huge split with the remaining Republicans in the House, that the kind of so-called normies really want this deal because they say this is the best we're ever going to get. And Johnson is kind of dragging his heels to say, no, not gonna happen, not doing it. And so the MAGAs are following him. So what do we think is going to happen with that? Because as you know, there have been a lot of things that the Democrats have tried to put through, and the Republicans have said, well, you know, we're the majority, we're just not going to allow it to happen. And then it happens. So what do you think? Is the border deal going to go through or not? And this is, do we have details on it? What is it? I don't know. It's about immigration and the southern border, the border on Mexico. That's really what it's about. Oh, and it says at the end of this article, as the immigration plan teeters, the fate of additional aid for Ukraine also hangs in the balance, with hard right House Republicans also dug in against it and threatening to depose Mr. Johnson if he seeks to push it through over their objections. Okay, so we're not focusing on his being ousted. We're focusing on, will this border deal go through and or not?
Are they wanting to keep money away from Ukraine with this deal?
No, it's a separate thing. I don't think this involves Ukraine. It's just about the border, I think. I could be wrong about that. We'll look in the chat.
Well, you know, everything that they have done, they include Ukraine in it. They're saying, if you don't do this for the border, we're not going to do that for Ukraine. So I don't know if that's changed or not. But as far as what they're doing right now, where they're not going to go through and allow something to happen with the border, this is just how the Republican House works. That's all they ever do, is just screw things up. And then they turn around and say, well, we couldn't do it because Biden didn't do it. It's Biden's fault. And so they're just going to continue on that. And they're still listening to Trump. So it did. Okay. Somebody said it did include the funding for Ukraine, which does not surprise me. That's exactly why they, do what they do.
But so what we're trying to answer, though, is, will it go through? Just because Mikey says it's not going through, the Republicans only have like a 2-person margin, and half of those guys are dead. I mean, they're just almost dead. They're really, they got a bunch of old white guys in there that aren't even functional. So
well, I have no idea what the deal is. I haven't read about it or heard about it, but I do know what they've done in the past. And if it's a good deal, and if the Democrats are all for it, it will eventually go through.
Okay, so you're saying it will. Hey, David, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to bring you down real quick here. Central underneath it got the star card. This is going to go through, and this is kind of like the crowning moment for the Republicans. They do some backroom dealing with Biden. They bring it to a close, but I also think it's going to be the end of Mike Johnson's reign as MAGA Mike of the House. Again, the truth's going to be exposed. It's going to be out there. They're going to find a path forward, but it undoes Mike's speakership. I have no doubt the Freedom Caucus will go after him and kick him out.
Yeah. And they got to do that quick, because half of them are going to be out anyway, like in the next 2 weeks. They're dropping like flies. Yeah. All right. Who else has got to read? Val, Gerald, Deann, anybody?
Well, I've got a yes on it. In some way, shape, or form, it looks like it's going to go through. But, it's going to cause a lot of, this is the Republican view of it. It's going to be a cauldron of feelings about it. They're going to be looking at each other and themselves in the mirror. So, yeah, it's not going to be pretty, though.
Okay.
Perfect. It's not going to be pretty. That's what I get.
I got the lover's card, though, for it passing. But,
yeah,
it's not going to be pretty.
All right. What do you have, Deann? Are you ready?
Yeah, I got the Queen of Swords in reverse. There's a lot of manipulation and poor communication there, but I feel like they're not going to really have a choice. They have to pass something. They don't really have a good choice. And with the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like something's going to go through. But there's going to be some fighting about it and arguing about it, as always. but inevitably they're going to have to come to a deal and go through.
Yeah. Good one. Gerald, wrap it up for us.
Well, I'm going to be the contrarian. I got not at this time.
Okay.
Not as it's done. I think it's got to have to. It's going to have to be battered back and forth a little bit. There's some nuances that need to happen. So, but sorry, everybody.
That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. All right. Well, I don't really have anything, earth shaking to add to that. So I'm just going to move on to the next question. Boebert is target of rivals at debate for new to her district. So seeking a better shot at victory, and after the Beetlejuice incident, Lauren Boebert is shifting districts for her 2024 run. Okay. Republican opponents on Thursday night in a debate in the new Colorado district she is seeking to represent faced off against Boebert, the far-right firebrand. After, let's see, I'm just trying to get to what they did. On Thursday night, Ms. Boebert appeared at ease, delivering fiery rhetoric and exposing her pro-Trump hard-right stances among similarly conservative peers at the debate in Fort Lupton. And then where do they say what they did? She faced steady criticism from her rivals about switching districts, having relocated to the other side of the state to improve her chances after a strong primary challenger emerged in the 3rd district. So do we think that, I think this is a two-parter. I mean, my gut says she's not going to win it, but is she even going to stay in it long enough to really even be the one they vote on?
Could I just say one other thing about what Gerald had just read on? I know this is out of the subject. We're onto something new, but I did say eventually that this thing would go through.
Me too.
And so I'm agreeing with Gerald on this. It's not immediate, but
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that probably just elongates Lil Mikey's tenure as speaker.
He's in trouble. They're already so sick of him.
They should just start calling him Spanky because they're going to spank him.
That's Trump's nickname.
But this thing with Boebert, what is exactly the question again? Is she going to get reelected or something?
Well, is she going to stay in the race long enough to be on the ballot for the election? And, do we think she's going to win? I don't think she even has a chance of winning, but, is she even going to be on the ballot, really?
I'm feeling a no, that she's not going to make it again, but I don't know anything about her. When you got people like her that are just so goofy and such a Trumpster, then I just ignore them. Now that's probably a mistake because those people tend to get in there, but I don't feel that she's an interference in what they're trying to do because she comes up with goofy things.
Yeah.
So I say no.
Okay. Who's next? David?
I got it. Thank you. I'm seeing the world card, bringing things to a conclusion. I don't think she's going to make it in. The truth has been exposed about her. It's about her relationships and her choices. There's going to be basically some backroom dealing with the Republican Party or the other candidates. They are going to gang up on her. I put a comment in the comment field. They're going to basically label her as a carpetbagger. She's coming in from some other district trying to take our stuff. And this is our stuff. You want your district so bad, go back to where you came from and go win your own district. She's not going to make it in because they're just going to just pummel her.
Good one.
Boy, what a shame.
Who's next? Oh, God, now you're all scared to talk.
I'll go next. I'll go next. No, she's not.
Okay.
I mean, simply put, and there's other things at work. So she's not going to.
Yeah.
So, and I get her really getting a sucker punch in the gut. That's what I felt when I saw this card from everybody in that new district. There's a lot of people that are going to be, this is like the wizard making things happen. She is like a rock there. She's going to sink like a rock. They're watching. They see her and they see everything that she's done. And she's going to have a broken heart.
Aw.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. She thought with the Ace of Pentacles, she thought this was a new opportunity by going to a different district. So she thought her chances were better, but people see her as emotionally immature. Especially after the Beetlejuice thing. So she's trying a plan of action and to lay the foundation in this new place. But I feel like there's going to be outside influences that is going to cause her some bad luck. So it's a no.
Yeah. Yeah. I pulled a couple of cards on this one, and I feel like you're all saying what's going to happen to her. I think those Republicans in that district are a little butthurt that she was even able to have enough publicity to even like come in and make any kind of an impact at all. And I have a feeling not only are they going to kind of gang up on her, but I think they're going to pull something on her. I think they're either going to really embarrass her or they're going to expose another scandal on her. They're just like, somebody's already got pictures or something, but I think they're going to embarrass her really bad.
Do you think they're going to bring up the call girl thing from the last election? Maybe with actual pictures this time?
Yeah, possibly. But I just got this, like, there's some that like kind of laying in wait going on. Like they're like, oh my God, does this chick even know what we have on her? And I think they're going to really, sucker punch is a good phrase for her because I think that she's really going to get sucker punched. And then her political career is basically over. That's what I get.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing. All right. So what do we got here? Everybody read, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this next question comes about, let's see, how are we doing this? We're really talking about Nikki Haley, but this came from a headline about Liz Cheney. So Cheney says Haley should stay in GOP primary through Super Tuesday. That's March 5th, I believe. So Liz has been an outspoken critic of Donald Trump, made the remarks in a podcast. Okay, who cares when she said it? Okay. She said, we need to make sure that we're challenging him and working to defeat him at every step of the way. Right now, Nikki Haley's in the fight, and I think you got to stay in it. She hasn't endorsed anybody. Liz Cheney hasn't. And she just wants her to stay in as long as possible. So I guess the question is, how long do we think Haley can stay in the race? Are her... For instance, she's got all these Koch brothers with, not Koch brothers, but the Koch network really behind her. And that's mega money. So could she stay in up to the convention, or is she going to have to pull out, or what do we think?
This kind of came up yesterday on the Golden Girls. And so Val's already heard my little thing about it, but, I had said that Nikki Haley would win New Hampshire, and obviously she did not. And I really delved into this question for like 2 weeks beforehand, every day asking about it. And it said, is she going to make it? She's going to make it. Then when she doesn't make it, I'm like, what the hell? So I asked again. I said, is she going to make it? Is she going to win? Is she going to win the primary? And then they keep telling me yes, yes, yes. Even after we already know that she didn't make New Hampshire. So I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about something else. They're talking about in the future, and they're telling me stuff like you're going to see things that have never happened before. So we definitely want Nikki Haley to stay in up through March. Because that's where there's a lot of states in March that are going to be doing this. Now, I'm not saying I just don't quite understand the whole thing of why I kept getting yes. And I just thought, okay, it must be the energy at that moment in time. And I'm thinking, but I asked about this every day. Then I'm thinking maybe I asked too much. or maybe I didn't word it right or whatever. But now I'm still getting the same thing about yes. Now I think that there is something, again, like they told me that it's going to happen, not necessarily by March, but down the road, that is something we have never seen before as far as this Trump mess of him trying to get on the ballot. And I mean, I don't want to jump ahead about the Supreme Court thing. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, I'm thinking, yes, she will do everything she can to stay on there. Plus, the money that's behind her is the same money that's behind Trump, because the Koch people they're hedging their bet. They put a lot behind Trump. They're putting a lot behind Haley, because what if Trump, for some reason, is not able to be there? So they have a backup. So I think her money's okay.
So you're saying that the Koch network is backing both of them?
Yes.
I have not heard that. Well, anyway, the Super Tuesday on March 5th is for, let me see if I can recognize these states by the 2-letter abbreviations. Okay, everybody cross your fingers for me. So I think it's Alabama, Alaska, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia.
That sounds right.
Well, yeah, it's my Trump spreadsheet. Of course it's right. So, but so, yeah, if she can stay in till then what you're saying makes some sense. We could see something really extraordinary happening that we've never seen before. I mean, we could. I mean,
you might see her win something. Then again, it might not be that at all. It might be that she doesn't win the stuff, but that for some reason Trump is taken out.
And Kevin Loving Vibrations is in the chat, and he's, I think in agreement with me that, there is something that is going to disenfranchise Trump between probably now and the election. Definitely he's probably not going to be able to actually be on the ballot, and I don't know exactly why. It might have something to do with his brain exploding. I don't know, but
but that's what I've said all along too, and I think we'll know for sure by summertime what's going on with him. But I don't know. Like I said, I've got the energy around this is so it's like a bad EKG. It's just like up and down, up and down, up and down. And so I'm just thinking it could be something we can't even imagine yet. But maybe it's something else.
Yeah, and I don't want to put words in Kevin's mouth. I see him in the chat there. So obviously you have to go to his channel and watch his latest videos where he talks about this. Shameless plug for Kevin's Loving Vibrations. Okay. Why not? I can make a shameless plug for my friend. Why not? Let's do that. All right. Who else would like to go on this? Wait, who did we lose? Where'd Val?
Val, she'll be back.
Okay. All right. Okay, who hasn't gone?
I can go if you want. Okay, yeah. I get that she's going to have some struggles with this, okay? And there may be some financial problems. I feel like eventually she's going to quit fighting and give up for the time being. So the Trump people, they're going to be celebrating, but I feel like the tyrant with the emperor in reverse is going down. I have been feeling like something in May or June is going to happen with him, and then maybe in July, Nikki Haley, they put her back in because she was the next runner-up. I don't know how that works, but that's what I'm feeling.
Well, okay, go ahead. Whoever has not gone, because I think I'm gonna throw in an extra question.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Val. You're fine.
Oh, okay. It looks like she's going to go up to the part where all the people vote, and in March. But then disappointment, abandonment. She's going to have a little heartbreak. So, yeah, that's how it is. But I mean, I get positive cards all the way around her. So what if something happens to Trump
That's
and
what I'm
she
feeling.
has to step in. It's like a backup, but it's not going to play out the way normal politics plays out. It's not normal, like that.
Okay. Who hasn't gone? Go.
I'm ending up here with the Lovers card. I think after Super Tuesday, she's still in the race with Trump, and she views it as her and Trump trying to win on this one. She likes her position. She has an amazing amount of confidence for what's going on. She likes how she's done, celebrating the things that she's done, and she's still making plans for the future at that point. But there's this underlying feeling that this is coming to an end, that he's got what the vibe I'm getting from is she's building momentum, but he might have such a big lead that she can't catch him by the time the delegates are counted. When I've done readings on this in the past, I almost got the vibe, because so much money came up. Trump is livid that she hasn't dropped out, because it's costing him a ton of money that he needs for the presidential run, and he's spending it all on the primary. And that Lovers card could very well be linked to that. He might ask her to be his VP. Now, I realize we got Ben Carson and Elise Stefanik and Kristi Noem and a couple other people that he's looking at, but she's got the big donor. She's got the money, and that's what he needs to get through there. And if he can get some agreements out of here for a pardon and things like that, she may do it, even though she finds him repulsive, because she will bank on, if she can't win the primary, better to be the VP, because when he's gone, she's now the president. So she's either gets it by winning the primary and beating Biden, or she backdoors it by being the VP. And if she suspends her campaign and then Trump gets the nomination and then takes ill, I don't think she can then be on the ballot as the president. So it takes them both out in one go.
Wow.
That
sounds possible.
What were you
I
gonna
got
do?
yes. I got yes that she'll be there through Super Tuesday. There's so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes and underground and all sorts of things. I got lots of suggestions of money. What I find very interesting is I have the Judgment card is influencing this, and I'm like going, I mean, you all know what we're thinking about the Judgment card, so it's like, she's going to stick with it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has Capricorn rising, or she is a Capricorn, I think. I was going to pull up her chart, and then I got squirrel brained into the New York Times headlines again. So what do you guys think of this? So she makes it through Super Tuesday. We
Mhm.
come up to the Republican convention. She is either still kind of a weak contender against Trump at that convention, or she's out. But Trump gets officially nominated as the nominee, and then he's disenfranchised.
Yeah.
And then they have to go, who do we pick? And the only person who even has two legs to stand on is Haley.
That's what I'm feeling happens, is that she ends up not winning. They're celebrating. Something happens. He can't be on the ballot. He gets sick or gets convicted or whatever. And then she's the next runner up. We've never been through this before to know how.
So to bring it full circle, what Cleo said at the beginning is right, that we're going to see things that we have never, ever seen before.
That feels absolutely right.
Yeah,
it really does.
It just blows me away that that the Kochs are also backing Trump, because I thought their whole reasoning in going after Haley is because they didn't want Trump in control, because they can't control him. I mean, they might not be able to control Haley either, because she seems to be pretty strong in whatever she does. But I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, are they the only wealthy group that's backing Haley? I think she's got others.
No, but they're the biggest. And without, who was that woman with you remember the thing with the first Trump election? Oh, what was that group? you know, with the technology and there was a woman, Mercer, I think her name.
Yeah, Rebecca Mercer.
Rebecca Mercer. Okay. So
Thank
she
you.
used to be thank you. She used to be a humongous donor that controlled a lot of money. And between those two, you had such big dollars that anything else was just small fries, just small potatoes. But they do have these super PACs, you know, that can not control things, but that, and the super PACs are not supposed to be involved with things. The Koch brothers essentially are their own super PAC. And so they're not supposed to be involved in this stuff, but they do try to be involved in this stuff. So,
But beyond all these donors and stuff, you've still got Russian interference, just like you had in 2016.
oh yes. Oh yes.
So you've got so many different things to have to deal with who ends up the nominee for the GOP. So, you know, I mean, I'm hoping that something terrible happens. David, what did you say?
Oh, I wanted to bring a little bit back to what Gerald was saying. There is so much intrigue going on behind the scenes. I think it's what makes it really hard to predict what's going to happen because of all the free will. Are you guys familiar with the Carrie Lake information that came out a day or two ago? It's exactly that, you know.
Yep.
The powerful families back east and all these companies are manipulating things with money and positions. So with like Nikki Haley, will she stay? Will she go? It's like all that stuff that we can't see that's going on that's impacting everything with this case. It's fascinating, frightening as hell, but fascinating.
Well, they put all of that information into the scripts for Succession, and then we can watch it.
Well, no wonder the energy is so crazy. I mean, that explains to me anyway a lot. The energy on this is just, it changes by the minute.
Yeah.
It used to change by the day. Now it's changing by the minute. So it's hard to put a definitive into this at all.
Well, you can't. I mean, Uranus is stationing as we speak, and it will begin the process of turning direction tomorrow. And Uranus, you cannot predict what's happening with Uranus. It's just, it rules chaos and unpredictability and surprise. So this time next week, we're going to know a whole lot more, or we're going to have a whole lot more questions, because we might not find out the reasons for all of this stuff, but the landscape is going to shift just seismically between now and next Friday. I'm sure of it. I'm just sure of it. So I was trying to pull up this thing. There was an article in the Times about, you know, inside Trump's cutthroat conquest of Iowa and New Hampshire. And I didn't really have time to read through it, but I think we've already answered that question about him. So I'll try to see if I have more glorious headlines. Oh, I should have joined that one with the other one. Okay. So even though the repubes have a razor thin margin in the House, they keep trying to block things, and they keep trying to just block things. Okay.
Mhm.
So this one headline says Biden vetoes Republican measure to block electrical vehicle charging stations. Like, they probably, most of them drive electric vehicles, you know, just to be cool. And I mean, I don't know. They're stepping on their own feet. So let's see. Republicans and some Democrats tried to repeal a waiver issued by the Biden administration that allows federally funded EV chargers to be made from imported iron and steel. So we don't have enough iron and steel. We're going to get it from somewhere else. President Biden on Wednesday vetoed a Republican-led effort that could have thwarted the administration's plan to invest $7.5 billion to build electric vehicle charging stations across the country. That's really important. They will never go to electric vehicles unless they can actually drive them, which means you need charging stations. And it's not like tomorrow the gas stations are all going to go away. So these people, again, are just stepping on their own feet all over this. So our president keeps doing amazing things in the face of these ridiculously boneheaded politicians. when will Biden start getting some credit for all the great things that he's doing? That's my question. It has nothing to do with electrical charging stations, but I just want to know that. And I think I ask this every week, but I'm asking again.
It's coming up, but it's still just like somebody was talking about that, Biden had been endorsed by the Auto Workers Union.
Mhm.
And then I read an article that said something about how it was going to benefit Trump. And you go through the article and it says, well, yeah, they do support Biden, but there's a lot of auto workers that are going to vote for Trump because they think Trump makes it so that they have more money in their pocket. Then you read through the article further and it says, no, these people would actually never have Trump. And I'm thinking, what kind of a goofy article is this? 1 minute they want Trump, 1 minute they want Biden, and then they're like, no, we're sticking with, even though we've endorsed Biden, we're going to go for Trump. And then they say, well, no, we would never go for Trump. It was the goofiest article. And I kept reading it thinking, what, are you just trying to screw with my mind? What are you talking about? I mean, it didn't make any sense. But yes, he did just get the endorsement from the auto workers. So I thought that was good.
It's very good. And I saw snippets of the speech that Sean Fain gave in support of Biden. And I thought the guy was going to lose his voice. He was screaming the whole thing because he was just so passionate and excited about it. But the thing is that I think when you're talking about that article, there is still a lot of foreign interference with stuff. And, maybe that was the result of some foreign interference on that article. It sounds like there were two authors, one against and one for Biden. So, that's pretty crazy. But I think that it's the major media is just, the corporate boards that they work for are basically, they want Trump, even though they're supposedly promoting progressive ideas. So it's really sad that, even MSNBC, they've got big dollar people sitting on their boards and they like Trump. You can hear it in the way the newscast goes, they shade it. They shade it. Everything's a question. Everything, this side, that side. And it isn't. You've got an authoritarian leader on one side, and then you have a normal person on the other side. So I think it's going to be a while. Okay, I've talked enough. Somebody else talk.
I've got mine. You wanted to know about when will he get credit? I got that right now. No matter what he does, it's never good enough. It's not good enough for him. He's not getting any, like you said, he doesn't get any recognition for all the things he does. He's very smart. He's very rational, but I feel like little by little, he's planted seeds, he's done things, and it's going to come into fruition that people are going to see. I get around maybe this summer that people are going to start speaking up more. The closer it gets to the election, there's going to be more of them speaking up. And I feel like around August, people are going to be changing. They're going to see all the things that Trump's done, the things that are coming, whatever's going to happen in May is going to be big. And I think that come this summer and really by August, there's going to be a lot more recognition showing all the seeds he's planted, all the things he's done, and what has come out of it. So that's what I got.
Sure.
Wow, I totally agree with Deann on that. Totally. That sounds exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, who else? Go ahead, David.
Okay, I don't know if I'm kind of getting both. I think right now the polling numbers Biden is probably doing really well. And, he's wondering, what do I need to do to convince the news media to support me? And the thing is, the news media really isn't interested in supporting him because they want to hold on to their money. And the only way they can have money is to have a controversy. So you keep people in the dark so that you can keep making money and, stealing from your advertisers because you're overcharging them for what you're providing because you have no integrity. I think for Biden to get out of this, they have to start being tough and coming out and touting all the things he's done in the past reveal the secrets, reveal what they're doing. They're not doing a good job of messaging. Bo, the fifth column, often hammers the Democrats for their lack of messaging. Show people the things that he's done that's valuable to them. Show how it's not getting reported, and that people need to make up their own mind where to get their news sources. And underneath it all, it's going to be something like a get to the young people. You know, if the mainstream media isn't going to cover it, go to Midas Touch. Go to wherever the young people are. If they get their news from Instagram or no, they don't go to Facebook, Instagram or places like that, and go get them there because they're the future. Who cares what a bunch of old gas passers like us think? It's the young guys that are going to be the motivated voters that keep them in power for the next 30 to 40 years.
Yeah. Go, whoever has it, go.
You asked it, when will he get credit? If he gets what little credit he is going to get, it's going to happen in the summer around the solstice, because there's so much going on. There's so much other things that are drawing people's attention away to what he's doing. And people in the chat have actually been talking about auto workers, the unions giving him credit and offering their support. That is very, very true. It's going to be very little, unfortunately, because the negative voice is so loud. That's what people are hearing. That's what they're paying attention to. So,
wow, that's great. That's great. I know you haven't gone yet, Val, but I just have to say something. I'm usually really just horrific at looking at the comments in chat. I'm terrible. I admit it. I'm a bad host. I'm just trying to keep the show moving, people. But I got to say, tonight I have a real reason. We have 362 people in the chat.
Right on.
That is the hugest number of people, I think. I don't even know that I've ever had that many people in the chat. Thank you so much. Now, will all of you lard asses go over and subscribe to my channel so that I can get up to, whatever, 4,500 subscribers and go to Deann's channel and put her over the top and go to David's channel and Gerald's channel and Val's channel and Cleo's channel and just, come on, guys, 350 of you can move a mountain. Okay, Val, tell us what you have to tell us.
Oh, Val, you're muted still. Muted.
John Q. Public and the news media, everyone out there, they're going with all the havoc. This is my Russia card. And eventually this beautiful waterfall of Joe Biden's gifts that he's bringing America will show in his new plans, his new ideas, his clarity of mind, and his brain power. So that this is going to come later. I'm sorry to say, just as David was mentioning, it's not something that they're interested in covering right now. That's just how it is.
One quick thought, just throw this out there to the group. Do you think that he won't get credit until he announces he's leaving the White House? Because then it's kind of like President Biden, he was amazing.
So somebody in my channel chat, which is for some reason not dumping into our simulcast, said Biden won't get credit until he dies.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't.
Leaves or dies.
I was listening to somebody, and it's probably somebody on MSNBC actually this morning, who was being very, very complimentary of President Biden. And it was somebody that's not on all the time. It's somebody like who is maybe some sort of ex-federal prosecutor or wrote a book or something like that. And he was going, he was saying that he thought President Biden was like one of the best presidents we've had since Roosevelt. And I think that too. I just think he's tremendous. And I think he will go down in history as like one of definitely in this century so far, he's going to be one of the best presidents. And he's got a pretty tough competition in Barack Obama. I mean, that's a tough one to overshadow. Biden's going to overshadow him. I have heard on MSNBC just recently that they are touting his accomplishments. And here's another thing that blew my mind is I had never heard any Trump voters or previous Trump voters saying that they would definitely not vote for Trump until right either the day before or the day of the Iowa caucus, and then again with the New Hampshire, whatever you call that, primary or whatever. And they interviewed a lot of people who said, yep, not going to vote for Trump, wouldn't vote for Trump. Blah, blah. And I was like, now that's what we need to hear. We need to hear that all over the place. And we need to hear their reasons why, because those are the people who other Trump voters who are possibly moving towards the fence can relate to, but if they wait till the day of the primary, a lot of people have already made up their minds. So I was I was happy, but I was still kind of disappointed. Like, man, why'd you wait so long? Like, put it out there. All right. So have we beaten that dead horse? Can we move on? Okay. So here's a Supreme Court thing that I thought was very, very promising. The Supreme Court backs Biden in dispute with Texas over the border barrier. So is this good news for us that, Biden's getting some support? What do we all think? I mean, is there anything else coming up with SCOTUS that affects Biden? Probably. I just don't know what they all are. I mean, this kind of pits Biden against Abbott too. And Abbott is not like a super political opponent. Abbott he's a nasty booger, isn't he?
She's horrible.
He is such a ugh. I mean,
well, because they have such a problem with people crossing the border, but on the other hand, putting stuff up that's going to kill people is not really a good idea. That's not a very humanitarian thing to do. And I think that's really good that the court went and said, no, you don't need to have razor wire and all the other stuff in the water that will drown people and stuff. I mean, it's just horrible what's going on down there. I realize that that Texas is being hit really hard, and so they do an awful lot of strange things like busing and flying people all over the country and just dropping them off. They've really got to get control of this. And the Biden administration, he's trying to do stuff and he can't get the House to go along with him. And so if that ever gets cleared up, and they don't want it to. I mean, Trump doesn't want that to be cleared up. He wants it to be just a mess right up until the election because he thinks it's going to help him, and it will. So, I don't know. I don't know that that's going to be enough to really everybody be looking around saying, yes, Biden did it. It's a good thing. It is a good thing, but I don't know that it's going to help.
Go for it, David.
Cleo, you're nailing all the points. It's optics. Think of it from an optic point of view. You put razor wire floating on the Rio Grande, and people take pictures of it, and it's showing that Republicans are protecting the border against the millions of brown people invading the U.S. through Texas. And they don't have a legal foot to stand on, but they don't care. They're not interested in winning the legal argument. They're interested in the optics. And now here comes Biden coming and having to go to the Supreme Court to say, you can't do that. Well, Abbott knew that. But now it's like, oh, Biden's coming in to let the brown people into the country. We were protecting you. And here comes Biden using the deep state to allow immigration, illegal immigrants and an invasion coming in. And the reason why the Republicans don't want to solve this, because they don't, is they're fundraising off of it. This is how they're going to get, this is their big thing that they're going to get for the election in 2024. And there's a real divide in the Republican Party between the conservatives and the MAGA. The conservatives want to get a deal done to show that they've done something to address the border issue. The MAGAs don't want to address the border issue because that's their talking point that they're getting through. So, and also going back, the MAGA and the GOP, they're obstructors. They got elected and put in there because they were to block the stuff Biden was doing. And the problem with obstructors, they don't know how to build anything. That's not their skill set. Their skill set is to block everything, including themselves, because that's who they are. I turn over the conversation. Everyone else.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was really
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I totally agree with you. But they have got to at some point realize you're dealing with people. I don't care what color they are. I don't care where they came from. They're human beings.
Exactly.
They're treating them like
Cattle.
Garbage.
Garbage.
like Nazi concentration camp type of stuff. I mean, just to go out and do stuff that they know is going to physically harm people and could result in death. No, this is not acceptable at all. And but you're right. They're not looking at it from that standpoint. They're looking at it from what helps Trump and what hurts Biden, and that's what they're interested in.
I just want to read the last paragraph that I have on this article because it's very interesting who voted on this. So, in lifting an appeals court ruling that had generally prohibited the administration from removing the wire while the court considers the case, the justices gave no reasons, which is typical when they act on emergency applications. Chief Justice John J. Roberts Jr. and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the court's 3 liberal members to form a majority. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clarence Thomas and the guy who turned over Roe v. Wade and the other guy,
Alito and Gorsuch.
Gorsuch, yeah. So those 3 guys didn't
And
support
Kavanaugh.
it. And Kavanaugh didn't support it. Yeah. So really, really interesting. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting turn of events. The court is going to be considering a lot of stuff over the next few weeks or months or whatever. Where was that other one I had?
Get ready, Deann.
They are not supporting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deann. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just had a question because I had heard about that lately too. And they said Abbott released a statement declaring an invasion and invoking the right of self-defense. And they said nearly all the Republican governors, 24 states, are agreeing with him and backing him on this. Yeah.
They're agreeing with Abbott?
Yeah, it says nearly all the Republican governors have come out to support him. That's a total of 24 states. Governor Phil Scott of Vermont is the only man not to do so. So I'm just wondering, can he get away with this? Because a lot of these, you see these women with their kids on their back and carrying a baby. So what they call them an invasion? So does that mean they're wanting to kill them? They want to shoot them? They're women and children unarmed. Babies, and then when they said something about that, when they told them to back off, they're going, what are they going to do? What's Biden going to do? What's he going to do? It's like a standoff, and it's really kind of scary. I'm wondering what he is going to do.
Well, this is a lot of the energy of the 1930s when the fascist movement in the United States really began to rise. And we've kind of wiped it out of our history books, but that's what Rachel Maddow wrote her book about. And that's what the astrology is repeating right now, is the same kind of energy that we had then, where it was a real risk that the United States would elect a fascist leader rather than a democratic leader. And we're on that same precipice right now. I think we're lucky now that Pluto has gone into Aquarius, because I don't think there's much chance that we will elect a fascist leader. But still, the fascism has gained approval, has gained popular following. But I just want to know, what the hell are they smoking? What are they giving out? What kind of weird adulterated Prozac are they all being forced to take that they go along with this? It is just heinous. It just makes me so mad.
It makes me sick.
Yeah, it's really sickening. So here's another. Did everybody speak on that one that wanted to? Okay, so here's another one about the court. Full appeals court spurns request by Trump to end gag order in election case, and I think this means that this can't go to the Supreme Court now. But the Supreme Court,
the gag order stays in place.
Yes. And so that's good. We like that. But then that means that SCOTUS will have time to think on this other issue, which is to decide on whether Trump is eligible to be on the ballot per the 14th Amendment. And I when I first heard about this, I really felt like it was going to have a lot of weight. I wasn't sure that it was going to, rule the day, but it did feel like, yeah, this is significant. And it has taken a while for this snowball to roll. Like, it didn't take off like a shot. It took a while. But, Colorado, even today, they are putting together legal papers in support of their decision. They're not backing down. They're not saying, oh, well, if the Supreme Court says we have to have him on, then I guess. No, they do not want him on. They're going to fight it. And there's now, when I first put it into my spreadsheet, there were only a few states that had actually started the legal process. But now there is a bunch.
30.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court has agreed to take this on. They have agreed to do it timely, because they know what a big deal this is about him being on there. And that just has come up in the last day or so. And I just think that on one hand, I'm thinking it's the Supreme Court and we're talking about the United States Constitution. Of course, he is ineligible. But the Supreme Court's handled by a lot of people that Trump put in there. So are they, if they go against the Constitution, they will come up with some flaky thing to do that. But if they go against the Constitution, that really, really worries me. That we have that Supreme Court's the court of the land. That's it. That's the deciding factor. So, I'm hoping that they say yes. Obviously he did an insurrection. Obviously he wanted to, not do the peaceful transfer of power. That's what this is really about. And other people are saying, well, it wasn't really an insurrection. It was a riot. No, it was to avoid the peaceful transfer of power. That is where the insurrection comes in. So yeah, the Supreme Court, I don't see how they can get around it. But then again, when it comes to legal stuff, there's always little loopholes. There's always different ways to see things. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they do that.
I want to go ahead, David. I'm going to share the screen while you talk because I want to show you the map that is showing all the states that are doing this. Go ahead.
I'm going to steal Meldor's psychic light bulb going off line there. I've been flipping through my cards. The Two of Wands come up. Split that one, split this one. Here's what I've got. Nikki Haley's strategy is waiting for the Supreme Court to rule that Trump can't be on the ballot because then she wins those states. And then all of a sudden is he off enough ballots and she gets those states that she gets the magic number. And then that could be the deal between Trump and Haley because it might be so close that maybe one of them gets it, maybe the other one doesn't. And it's better to join forces. Now, whether or not they join forces, I don't know, but that's it. That's the hit right there. That's her strategy.
Totally agree. That's what I'm thinking too. And that's why Nikki Haley is going to want to stay in there through March.
As long as possible.
Yeah. Okay, here comes the map. I just don't want anybody to be offended that I'm making the Maltini. Okay, here we go. All right, because it makes all of us teeny. But this map, the pink ones are the states that have dismissed it. This number has gone down by more than half just since I put the data into my spreadsheet, which was, I think, early last week, so about 10 days ago. So some of the states who had dismissed this have taken it up again. Now, the yellow states, all the states that are in yellow, and I'm moving around here so you can see that these blocks are multiple states, right? That's just California, the big old thing. And here is Illinois and Wisconsin and New Hampshire and New York. And then there's a little part of New York there. And then Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I guess West Virginia is holding out. So Those yellow ones are where cases are pending. The peach colored ones are where it says voluntary dismissal by plaintiff. So they've dismissed also, but they could come roaring back to life. The little lavender ones are dismissed on appeal, and the purple ones, Colorado and Maine, Trump disqualified. Decision stayed pending appeal. So this map has changed appreciably in the last 10 days. So people are taking notice of this. People are really starting to look at this as something much more serious. And I think you may be onto something, David, with Haley watching this map. But I honestly don't think that this is going to be what determines that she comes back. I think it's going to be the disenfranchisement of Donald Trump for some other reason. I'd love it for it to be the 14th Amendment. You don't know how much I'd love that. So pissed off that they won't even put him on the ballot. But I think it's going to be that brain exploding. I just don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be some other reason for disenfranchisement. Maybe not.
Well, those other blue states in there, light blue states, they have brought it up and then they've let it go because they're waiting to see what the Supreme Court says. They're saying that it's out of their, like Washington State, it came up in like some small county around here, and they're just saying it's out of their jurisdiction. They're not, that's not the right venue because they're waiting to see what the Supreme Court says. So all of those little light blue states could change their mind depending on what the Supreme Court says.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but we have that troll is back. So whoever has this person on their channel,
David, it's on your channel. I'm not a moderator, so I can't delete. I've only been able to report.
Can you put
is that the O2H2?
Yeah, can you put them in timeout? Yeah,
sure. Okay. I was gonna say, the way everything they posted was just enough letters to get in there. It's like, what is this? Like, okay, whatever. Ignore them.
Yeah, we've had them before. It's not pretty. So I don't even know if there was a question in there or not. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, what we could ask, what do you think the Supreme Court's going to say? Or we could just leave it as whatever we've already said.
Well, yeah, I'd like to throw on it. I'd like to read on it. What do we think they're going to say about this? And how long is it going to take for them to say it?
That's the better question. Or when does their ruling get implemented?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping before March or by March.
Right, because they're taking this case up, the beginning of February, if I'm not mistaken, like February 8th?
February 8th. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is a horrendous day astrologically. And it's our brother's birthday. So...
Oh.
That doesn't sound good.
I'm like, you should just start, David.
Okay. They're going to come forward with their message, and their message is we can't rule right now. We have to consider this because it disenfranchises the voters. They might say, there's some backroom dealing and some deals that are made probably between the conservatives and the liberals. But I think what it basically is, there was something called like the Hutchinson's Act or something where you can't make a legal decision too close to an election. I forget what the exact name of it is. And I think they're going to go that route. They're basically going to say, yeah, if you guys had gotten this to us sooner, they're not going to say that out loud, but if you had gotten to us sooner, we could have ruled on this. We're too close to the election. We're going to put off the ruling until after the election, and then we will have ruled on it. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense because now you've elected somebody who may not be electable. But that they're gonna figure out a way to punt the ball down the field so that they don't have to rule on this.
It's called the Purcell Principle.
Purcell Principle, thank you.
Yeah, and it's not a law. It's not. It's
exactly. It's
a guideline.
It's some random thing that came up in the aughts, I believe. That and I forget what the case was, but it was just like it's this nebulous 6-page reading that they threw out there. It's almost like you can't prosecute a sitting president type of thing. It's not. It's a lot. Some document that it was the Supreme Court that put together the Purcell Principle, and it's just been causing havoc since then.
And the Republicans have been kissing their ass ever since because they love to bring it up every time they don't want the Democrats to put somebody on the Supreme Court either. You know, they just love that.
Yeah, the Purcell Principle didn't matter when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, but it sure as heck's going to matter in this case.
Right. Who else? Who's ready? Go ahead.
Well, I got the justice card, so this is them. And I got they're guarded and delayed news. I get that they're going to forgive him and not take him off the ballot. I feel like they just don't want to do that. They're just going to say, I agree with David that they're going to say it's too close to the election, and I think he'll stay on the ballot. Okay. Unfortunately.
Val, what do you say?
I agree.
Yeah.
He's going to stay on. They aren't going to do anything about it.
Yeah. Gerald?
They're not going to do anything with it. There's too much other crap that they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid more attacks on them. More stuff would be discovered. More backstage, backroom shady crap. So I do love this card though for this whole reading. It's the 3 of Swords, and I like how it's stabbed in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to backfire on them.
Oh yeah, very much. Cleo, did you already talk about this?
Yeah, I'm just, if it goes the way everybody's talking about, I'm just disheartened by the Supreme Court that they would back out of something this important at this time. And so that's why I was kind of hoping that they would come up with something. But if the other thing was, I thought they were going to do something like that. And now you guys are kind of verifying my worst fears about the Supreme Court. I mean, it's just the Supreme Court is bought by the Republicans, by Trump. That just is that is the beginning of the end of our democracy. So yeah, I'm saddened by the whole thing.
Yeah. So I got that the Supreme Court is going to write a very long decision about this. And in the end, they're just going to say, we're going to leave it up to the states because they don't want to have any blood on their hands. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing about the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republicans have orchestrated this for 50 years. It has taken them 50 years to put enough people on the Supreme Court and enough dog catchers in the municipalities and enough Republican mayors and governors and heads of and secretaries of state. It's taken them 50 years to really choreograph all of these positions and make them Republicans. And in the doing of that choreography, what they have done is slowly inculcate them into what eventually was to become Donald Trump's cult. I don't think they intended for it to be a cult 50 years ago, but that is what they did. They used methods used by the churches, the big evangelical churches. And those people were really, really effing good at inculcating people into cults. They did it. And they took people's money and whatever. Okay, so that's my thing. Entertainment.
Well, if you're right about that, they would turn it over to the states. That gives me a little bit of hope, because at least there's some states that would definitely take him off the ballot. So if the court says we can't make that decision, but the states can, that gives me hope.
Well, they can't very well say, no, every state has to put him on. It's in the Constitution that they have the right not to put him on. So how can they say, how can they say we don't want to take the choice away from the voters when each voter's state has a say in this? that's
I think that argument is just a bunch of bullshit in the first place. You know, really, to say it's up to the voters. That's like saying, well, I got a ticket because I was speeding, and now, but everybody in the neighborhood says I shouldn't have a ticket. Oh, okay. Well, let's leave it up to the neighbors. I mean, that is just ridiculous to say that. Leave it up to the voters. That's ridiculous. But if they want to leave it up to the state, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that.
They don't want to go against him, though. But they, like you said, they're bought and paid for. They don't want to go against him. And I think, it would be great if they don't want to do it. I had gotten that once before, that they may give it to the states, so it's off of their hands, so they can't,
Yeah, so their hands aren't dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at, are they still afraid of Donald Trump? Because they have the power to say, he doesn't have presidential immunity. They didn't go with that. They didn't even take that, right? They haven't taken that case.
That's too far.
The Court of Appeals still has that. They haven't even brought out their decision, have they?
No, they haven't.
Yeah. So until that decision gets brought out, and until somebody says, "Oh, we're going to appeal that to the Supreme Court," there's not even a chance that they're going to rule on that. And that's the one they really don't want to rule on, because if they say he doesn't have immunity, he'll be pissed. But think of how weakened DJT really is right now. He just got an $83 million judgment. His best friend just got what was that ridiculous sum that Shane
40-something million?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And plus he has all these other judgments, the little ones from E. Jean Carroll and the stuff coming up from Letitia James. He is severely weakened. So maybe that gives them the balls to say, "Oh, we'll leave it up to the states." Maybe.
And speaking of Letitia, they are kind of putting her in a corner because of her relationship with the other attorney.
Oh, no, Fonnie Willis.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, you're right. Never mind.
Okay.
Wrong person.
Never mind. Okay. I think I might be almost out of questions.
We should throw to see if Donald Trump's going to dig up Ivana to see whatever values he's hidden in the coffin, if he needs to liquidate those to pay his bills.
That might be true. Because Ivana's not in that casket. She was cremated.
Mm-hmm.
So why was it so goddamn heavy? Why did it take like 16 people
It's
to
got
carry it?
gold in it. It's got the documents that he didn't want them to find.
You know what I want to know?
The gold bars. All the gold bars.
I want to know if Bob Menendez was at the funeral and if he mistook it for a wedding and started giving bars to them. I don't know. Anyway, I want to know, perhaps they're going to bury Trump next to her.
They should.
Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Who the hell cares where he gets buried? Out to sea, hopefully. Fish food.
Fish food. That's right. Well, let me look at oh my God, look at all these things that were starred. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Gerald, tell me, is there a really great question in here that I should put up?
This is just really good commentary. So, yeah, nothing normal, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's the, will DJT need to post a bond for $84 million before he can appeal?
That's the law, I believe.
Yeah, he has to.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely does. And he's already posted one because she's already appealed once. So he already had to post one. But that was a tiny one. If he tries to appeal this one, he's much bigger. I don't think he has the milk money to post this bond.
Yeah.
I really don't. Okay. Anything else on there?
Did you already throw on immunity somebody had put down?
We did not throw on it because the Court of Appeals is just writing their opinion right now. And I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to say, no, Sunshine, you don't have immunity. because his arguments were just like, they were like Fantasia. I mean, they just didn't have any bearing to reality whatsoever, and certainly no bearing to the law. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just out to lunch with that one. So
I
no,
just have to put this up. Can we impeach the Supremes?
What's wrong with
no,
Diana Ross?
no. The Supreme Court justices are a lifetime appointment. They are not subject to impeachment. I don't quite know what the mechanism is to remove them, but I think it's usually voluntary. Either they choose to step down themselves, or they just don't.
Yeah.
I don't
I want to
think
look that one up because I thought they could. I don't know. What do I know?
feel free to Google it.
Yeah, exactly. Doing it right now.
But I have worked for lawyers for 40 years. So
4 years? Okay.
yeah, 4
Yeah,
years.
4
Yeah.
years. Okay.
I've worked for attorneys most of my life, and that, as far as I know. Yeah, what do they say?
It's actually the number one search thing in Google. I got Canada's Supreme Court justice be impeached. The Constitution states that justices, quote, shall hold their offices during good behavior, unquote. This means that the justices can hold office as long as they choose and can only be removed from office by impeachment. The only justice to have been impeached was Associate Justice Samuel Chase in 1805.
But
Oh, wow.
who does the impeaching? Is that Congress?
I
Or
would be Congress.
president?
Just, it would, the House would vote on it, the impeachment, and then the Senate would hold the trial. That's how it should go.
And since that was written in 1805, have any justices ever been impeached?
No, I think it's in the Constitution, but an associate justice, was that what it was? Somebody in 1805, an associate justice, Samuel Chase, was the only justice to be impeached, and that was in 1805.
Yeah, okay, that's 200 years ago. So no, they're not going to impeach. That's not happening. Anything else we can ask?
And that might be why there's all the thing about Biden maybe adding another like 6 justices to the court.
Yeah, and I know he's not really fond of that. He feels like there's something odd about that, and I think that's just his generational bias. I think that the court has been as many as 13 in the past. It was over 100 years ago, I believe, but it has been that many. And if you use the criteria of the congressional or the federal districts in the United States, there are 13, and there should be a Supreme Court justice for each one of those. Because right now, some of the judges have to take multiple districts, so they have to work too hard.
And following kind of the Republican mindset where, elections have consequences, should Biden win the House and the Senate and be reelected for 2025, I would change the Supreme Court justices from 9 to 13 and then start appointing them for each of the districts. And when the Republicans howl in outrage, just start busting out the Mitch McConnell lines from, sorry, elections have consequences. You had the opportunity to do this. You chose not to. We're doing it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll see that. And I think you'll see Biden do a lot of things in 2025 that he wouldn't do in his first administration. For one thing, he's got to get the table set for Kamala.
Yeah.
He's got to get everything set for her, and not that she needs coddling. It's just he doesn't want her distracted by stupid shit. Like let's just have let her just be a great president. She's also, by the way, I predict she's going to be a very beloved president.
I feel so too.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
People are just going to worship the ground she walks on.
She'll be our first woman president. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they'll just love her to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, geez, guys, I don't know. I mean, we got through all of my questions, and it's been an hour and 23 minutes. We still have 341 people in the chat.
Wow.
I think at one point I saw 355 or something, but that's just amazing, which means that we have all the best chatters. And I'm just honored that all of you were in the chat. That's just amazing. I'm really, really thrilled. Okay, so does anybody have any last comments? Anything about what we read on?
I thought there was some really good readings. I really enjoyed today's show because you guys have enlightened me.
I think you're great, Cleo.
Oh, well, thanks, Deann.
I love listening to your, thoughts and predictions.
And colorful language.
And that too.
Oh my.
What do you mean colorful language? Cleo never uses any colorful language.
I try to keep it down. I try to keep it limited.
There you go.
But some things I get a little too passionate about.
Absolutely.
That's when it's really funny, though. I love it.
You're saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you, all of you, for coming by on a Friday night to play PoliTarology with me. As you know, it's my favorite game, and I like talking a lot, so that's also my favorite thing. So I just am very happy that you're all here. Hey, we had no fights bust out. That was cool. Everybody got along. We were all very adult.
Well, and I hope David comes back because I loved the stuff that you came up with.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I had a good time tonight.
He is coming back, by the way. He's coming.
Good.
Yes, it's already on his channel.
Yeah.
I'll go get the rest of them up too.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks everybody, and thanks chatters, and I really appreciate everybody being here. This was a really fun show. Of course, we'll be back next Friday night with the whole gang, and we'll be reading on all sorts of things that happen. And like I said, by next week, things are going to be really different. There's going to be lots of things popping off in the next 7 days. So that's it. That's it for our show. Thank you. Blessings to everybody. And I'm going to sign us out. Here we go. Wait a minute. Got to get my
Good night, everyone.
feed up here. Okay, I'm going to start the video, then I'm going to end the stream. Love you. Bye. There comes the cat to block my camera.